So, Will, we've been asked the question, why do we do this? Why do we do what we do? And why are we trying to inspire others to do it as well?
That's a great question. Because, like, what's the point, right? I
Yeah.
mean, why would you want to kind of live this life or make sacrifices along the way? So, I think for us, maybe it's different. But I look at what I want to do later, and so a lot of that is, you know, getting closer to retirement. I want to be able to retire, hopefully early. That'd be awesome. And then it's what I am planning on being able to do once that time comes. So big things. I'm not just looking just to have a big amount in retirement. I'm really focused on what I can do with that money. So some big things for me would be great to travel. It'd be awesome just to go wherever I wanted. And
Yeah.
man, just think about if you could go on a trip and say, people ask when you're coming back. It's like, I don't know, we'll decide,
Hmm.
whenever we want to. So to be able to do that with my wife, it'd be great. To be able to go travel wherever we wanted. And then any experience we wanted to go do, down the road, if we have kids, grandkids, whatever, being able to do stuff with them. Just having that flexibility and then not having to work be a huge thing. Whenever I get to that stage where work is optional, so I can invest my time in the projects I want to. I'm not tied down to necessarily having to go get a paycheck. If I wanted to go learn something new or if I wanted to try a new experience, I could with my time.
Hmm.
My time is mine. And then other stuff is being able to give. Sometimes I feel bad, like right now, like there's so many needs out there. And so it would be great if we could just give to as many of them as we could. If, somebody had a need, we could not think about the money side of it, just write a
Right.
check and be able to help them out. So personal stuff for my wife and I is, just any needs that we see. And then we'd love to, down the road, if there's somebody that's wanting to like adopt a kid, that's a very expensive process and many families can't afford that. So we've talked about, maybe being able to help, families adopt kids that are looking to that. So that's something down the line that's, not really focused on the total amount in a bank account or anything, but that's just some powerful things that money can do that we're
Hmm.
willing to sacrifice now so we can get to that point where we could help a lot of people and then be able to enjoy it, ourselves. So
Right.
what
That's
about
a
you? Do
great
you
goal
have
to have.
anything? Yeah, I do have like
Yeah, I mean, very similar. Definitely want to give. There's a lot of people with needs,
Mm.
and to see what my money can grow, just little sacrifices now. We put out a social media post saying, what can a couple of sacrifices, not having a latte, once a day, what would that look like? That I think it's $2.75. If you invested that at 8% growth, which is pretty realistic, what would that look like in 30 years? And it was over $100,000. And so I'm thinking, oh, if I could just sacrifice a little bit, if I could kind of put away that $100,000 could change someone's life 30 years from now. That could buy a bunch of people cars, that could start a business for someone. It's just, there's a lot that could be done with that. So giving is a huge deal. But honestly, I don't want to worry about money anymore. I really don't. I don't want to just have to worry about it. And if you look and see that Chris Hogan says that retirement's not an age, it's a number.
Mm.
That's something that's really stuck with me. So if I can hit this certain number, you can kind of calculate it, figure out what it is. Every number is different for everybody. So you can calculate that number, find out how much you need to live for the rest of your life, how much you can make, getting a decent eight, let's say it's 8%, you get a chunk of money, you get that 8%, that 8% is actually enough for you to live on year by year. So that's financial independence. That means you can sit down and not have to do anything and you're getting some money in the bank account. So honestly, that's something I'd really love to get to a point. And then once I'm done using that nest egg, it's still there. I kick the bucket and it's there for my kids.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just, why wouldn't you want to do that? I guess is what I would say.
Yeah. And I great point with the kids. I didn't, mention that, but that's another thing is I want to be able to be a blessing to my kids. And so not having to worry about money for me, like I don't want my kids worrying about taking care of me. I love if, they didn't have to worry about that, that it's money's
Mhm.
there. we can just spend time together, not having to worry about that kind of barrier. And I think it's really important just to think and, constantly remind ourselves of the why, because it's sometimes easy to lose our focus, or we get discouraged about, I want that latte, I want that nicer car, I want that bigger house. So why would I make the sacrifices when I could have something now? And I think if we have, crystal clear focus on what our goals are, then it makes it so much easier. Just like if I got a big yes down the road, it's easy for me to say, no to these little things, because I'll do, I'll make any sacrifice I need to be able to get to that goal. So I think if you have that in perspective, it makes those small decisions, so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely.